Gananam tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shrunvannotibhisida Sadanam Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Dear friends, we were reading the sixth shloka in the last class. We completed the sixth shloka, that is Ichha Dvesha Sukham Dukkham Sanghatas Chetana Drutihi Etat Kshetram Samasena Savikaram Udahrutam. So we completed the description of what was Kshetram. So now say Krishna is going to describe what are the Jnana sadhanas, Jnana sadhanani, that is what are all the means for Jnana. So that he is going to describe. And then because these are the means for Jnana, he is figuratively calling them Jnana. Jnanam. He is calling them, figuratively he is calling them Jnanam. Because even otherwise it is justified because Jnayate anena iti Jnanam. For the word Jnana, there is a Karanam Vyutpatti. Jnayate anena. By this something is known. So that is why that is called Jnanam. Then Jnaptir Jnanam. There is another Vyutpatti, that is Bhava Pratyaya. So that is how Jnana sadhanani are called Jnanam. So that is very well justified. So we read the avatarika for the seventh shloka in the last class. Kshetrajnaha Vakshyamana Visheshanaha Yasya Saprabhavasya Kshetrajnasya Parijnanad Amrutatvam Bhavati Tam Jneyam Yattat Pravakshyami Ityadina Savisheshanam Swayameva Vakshati Bhagavan. This sentence we read. So that Jneyam, that is regarding the Kshetrajna, Lord Krishna is going to say in the forthcoming shlokas. There are in the forthcoming shlokas he is going to tell about that. But right now he is talking about sadhanani. Then adhuna, this line we were reading. Adhuna tu tad jnana sadhana ganam amanitvadi lakshanam yasmin sati tat jnaya vijnane yogyo adhikruto bhavati. So this line did we read?
We read already.
Okay, we will read it again. Adhuna tu tad jnana sadhana ganam amanitvadi lakshanam yasmin sati tad jnaya vijnane yogyaha adhikruto bhavati yat paras sannyasi jnananishta uchyate tam amanitvadi ganam jnana sadhanatvat jnana shabdavachyam vidadhati bhagavan amanitvam. Okay. So adhuna tu, now that jnana sadhana ganam. Ganam means a group of virtues, let us say. All this group of virtues, an enumeration of so many virtues which are required in order to attain jnana. So jnana sadhana ganam amanitvadi lakshanam, which are defined as, which are identified as amanitvam, etc., etc., amanitvam, etc. Yasmin sati, when they are present, only it is only when they are present, tat jnaya vijnane yogyaha adhikruto bhavati. So that jnaya vijnane, what is the jnayam? Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is the thing which has to be known. So in the process of knowing that kshetrajna, this yogyaha adhikruto bhavati. So the yogyaha means the person who is a competent person, eligible person, adhikruto bhavati. Adhikruto bhavati means he gets that adhikara, he gets the eligibility, or he attains the eligibility for knowing that jnaya, for knowing that kshetrajna. For knowing that kshetrajna, you will become eligible by acquiring all these characters. All these things are nothing different from what we see in the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, you know, nitya nitya vasu viveka, ihamatra phalabhoga viraga, all those things in slightly different words they are mentioned here, or rather what is mentioned here only is taken as sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. After all, Vedanta texts, they are written from say based on Upanishads and based on Gita, etc. Based on Upanishads and based on Gita only, all these later texts have come into existence. So what we call as sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is a rather classified or rather a very orderly way of saying it. whereas here you will find in a cluster. It is somewhat like that. So here Yogya Adhikruto Bhavati. So he becomes the Adhikari. He becomes the Adhikari. One who is an Adhikari is called Adhikruta. Then Yatparas Sannyasi Jnana Nishtha Uchyate. So a sannyasi, one who has renounced, Yatparaha means one who is following that as the supreme path. Yatparaha. Para we know. Tatpara we know. Tatparaha means one who is deeply interested in that. He is Tatparaha. Tatparatvam, we know that word. Yatparaha means by dedicating to which this sannyasi will be called Jnana Nishtha. So we are now talking about certain virtues which are for the Jnani. So these are all the Antaranga Sadhanani. In fact, our Nilakantha Vyakhya, he makes a good point that all these things are Antaranga Sadhanani. We know the difference between Antaranga Sadhanam and Bahiranga Sadhanam. Bahiranga Sadhanam is something which helps you in the process of purification of mind, like this Karma Yoga. But then once you are in this Jnana Nishtha, that Karma Yoga drops off. It is something like a shuttle I gave the example of a satellite, where that shuttle drops off and then pushes the satellite up. So something like that. This is something which drops off. Karma Yoga drops off. So similarly, some other things which they say even Bhakti can drop off, we do not know. Bhakti can be there, Bhakti need not. Bhakti, of course, Bhakti is Antaranga Sadhanam. There is no problem. So Karma Yoga basically is a Bahiranga Sadhanam. Then various other things which go to the, this yoga, the process of yoga, all this Patanjali yoga, all that thing is Bahiranga Sadhanam only. Because all those things which are connected with the body only. So that is Bahiranga Sadhana. So here the qualities which are being told here, they are all the Antaranga Sadhana. Antaranga Sadhana means they will continue to be there even in the Jnana Nishtha. Now for example, the first thing which is told is Amanitvam. Amanitvam is humility, let us say in very, very simple words, it is humility. Lack of arrogance, let us say. Lack of pride, arrogance, so that is humility. In other words, humility, let us say. So this thing has to be there even for a Jnani. So similarly, Adambhitvam, that lack of hypocrisy or absence of hypocrisy is something which has to be there even during the Jnana Nishtha. So for the Jnana Nishtha, all these things, they are also Antaranga Sadhanani. He has to be continuously living with all these qualities. He has to be having all these qualities. So that is the point here. Yatparaha sannyasi jnana nishtha uchyate. So that person only will be called a jnana nishtha, one who is stable in that jnana. Then tam amanitvadi ganam. So that particular ganam, that particular group, Jnana Sadhanatvad, Jnana Shabdavacham, because they are all means for Jnana, it is now designated as Jnanam. Then Vidadhati Bhagavan. Vidadhati means he prescribes. Lord is prescribing. He is this Vidhi. Vidhi, you know, Vidhi is a prescription. Vidhi is an injunction, a prescription. Vidadhati means he gives all these things as a Vidhi. Vidadhati. So he is prescribing all these things to you. So that is the meaning here. Vidadhati Bhagavan Amanitvam iti. Let us read this shloka. Amanitvam adambhitvam.
Amanitvam adambhitvam.
Not mada. Amanitvam adambhitvam. Amanitvam adambhitvam.
Amanitvam adambhitvam.
Ahimsa kshantirarjavam.
Ahimsa kshantirarjavam.
Acharyopasanam shaucham.
Acharyopasanam shaucham.
Stairyam atma vinigrahah.
Stairyam atma vinigrahah.
So such qualities in the next 4 shlokas he is going to say, all these things put together, there are about 20 qualities which have been enumerated. Altogether in all these 4-5 shlokas, you will be seeing 20 qualities which are enumerated here as Jnana Sadhanani. In other words, Jnanam. So let us see these things. Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, this particular shloka alone contains 9. It mentions 9. So Amanitvam. Manitvam we know. Manitvam is Mani, Abhimanam. Abhimana is that self-esteem, pride and whatnot. Manitvam, that the feeling of pride, feeling of greatness. The lack of that feeling of greatness is amanitvam. So mani means somebody who is proud about himself. Why does he become proud? Because if you see the word mani, it is a beautiful word. Ma dhatu. What is the meaning of the root ma? Ma means to measure. To measure. Manam, pramana, ma means to measure, meter, matra. So that is the root, isn't it? So that ma is measuring. So he measures everything. Okay, I have read 100 books. So you have read only 10 books. I have read all the commentaries also. You have not read the commentaries. Or maybe I have so much of money in the bank. You don't have so much of money in the bank. Maybe I have some property, 100 acres of property, you don't have anything. So this is the way he counts. He measures. So that becomes the cause for his manitvam. Sometimes some virtues may be existing, sometimes may not be existing. There is a beautiful line by Madhusudana Saraswati. Vidyamanaihi avidyamanairuva gunaihi atmanashlakhanam manitvam. That is, vidyamanaihi avidyamanaihi va. That is, these virtues may be existing in you or may not be existing in you. You are presupposing their existence in you. And then you are feeling proud. So there are lot many people like that. You come across lot many. In fact, all these things, if you read the Bhashyam and all these commentaries, if you sometime read, you will realize that they describe so many traits of human character, so many traits of human character, so many personality types. In fact, a lot of psychology is there. You can see, even earlier when we saw in that 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, but now from 13th chapter onwards, more of it. Because 13th chapter describes all these qualities. Then again, 14th chapter, we are going to see what are these 3 gunas, and then all the miracles, all the effects of these 3 gunas, what type of personalities it produces. Then again, you see this, what is that Daiva Asura Sampat, what is the Daivi Sampat and what is the Asuri Sampat. Then again, you see Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga, what type of Shraddha, what type of devotion, Rakshasi Shraddha, Sattvika Shraddha, Rajasa Shraddha, and Tamasa Shraddha. So many traits of character, so many personality types you will see if you just go through the Bhashyams actually. So this Amanitvam is lack of that pride. That is one who has discarded it. It is not as though he is deliberately suppressing it. Because of his realization, this man has become an Amani. Not as though he is faking it or anything like that. It is not a question of faking these virtues. All these virtues, we are not talking about somebody who is faking all these things. We are talking about somebody who has who has ingrained, who has got all them in his character. They have now reached into his blood. So that is the person. So because he is a jnani, by viveka he has discarded all these things. By viveka he has found the futility of these things. So he is not a mani. So similarly, adambhitvam. Dambha means so mani is somebody who is just taking pride. Dambha, he not only takes pride, he keeps on bragging about it. He keeps on telling everybody. Bragging means just boasting about it. Dambha. And this dambha also, sometimes you may have virtues, you may not have virtues. So you will be boasting. Boasting of all non-existent virtues is one type of dambha. Another type of dambha is pure hypocrisy. So suppose you do not do any puja or anything at home, but then you will come out with some all these beads and then all these rudraksha malas and all that, and you will behave as though you are a greatest saint. So that is dambha. Dambha, Shankaracharya somewhere, I don't know whether we completed that part or we are going to get, he calls it dharma dhvajitvam. Dharma dhvajitvam means, dhvajam, dhvajam is a janda is a flag. So you are holding a flag and then you are saying that you are a dharmatma, you are dharma anusthata. So that is what is dharma dhvajitvam. So that is what is dambha. So dambha is of 2 types. One is proclaiming all the virtues you have, and then pretending as though you are having so many virtues. You are pretending. So highly pretentious. So here lack of hypocrisy. Adambhitvam is lack of hypocrisy, unpretentious behavior, unpretentious conduct. Then ahimsa. Ahimsa, of course we know. Ahimsa is not, say, deliberately hurting any living being. You may, without your knowledge, you may trample on some ant or something like that, but then deliberately you are not hurting anybody. Then kshanti. Kshanti is forgiveness. Kshanti, kshama, forgiveness. So even when somebody say causes some hurt to you, you are not going to react. So not out of weakness, but from a position of strength. Not only from a position of strength, from a position of knowledge, let us say. Not merely from a position of strength. From a position of strength, if you are showing forgiveness, it may be a strategy. Here, of course, it is not a strategy, it is a quality of mind, because it becomes it is because of knowledge and not as a strategy. So then arjavam. Arjavam is ruju swabhavam. Ruju, you know. Ruju means straight. Ruju is straightforwardness. That is, what you think, you speak, you act. Manasyekam, vachasyekam, karmanyekam. We know that shloka. Manasyekam, vachasyekam, karmanyekam, mahatmanam. The previous line is manasyanyad, vachasyanyad, karmanyanyad, duratmanam. That is, a bad man, he has something in the mind, talks something else, does something else. So that is duratma. So that is not arjavam. That is called kutilatvam. Arjavam is straightforwardness. That is, straightforwardness is, it's a simpler word. So that is all, bigger word is rectitude, let us say, rectitude, arjavam. Then, so that means he is not hiding anything, he is not a hypocrite. There is no gap between the mind and between the heart and the mind. So this is a better way of saying. So Swami Tattvavidananda says, there is a gap between heart and the mind in the case of, particularly the Western people. But whereas in the case of Indians, we don't have so much of gap between the heart and the mind. We speak out what all is there in our minds, in our heart rather. But then in other places, they don't speak out. They are highly reserved, and then they measure their words, and then they are very, very careful in talking. Whereas we are not so careful in talking. So that is it. So arjavam. Then acharyopasanam. Acharyopasanam is again a very important thing, because acharyasya upasanam. Upasana means, we know upasanam. What is upasana? Upa plus asanam. That is sitting near. What is sitting near? You can't go and sit near the teacher and then waste his time. Suppose I say I want to go to a Swamiji, and there I always want to sit. I will be wasting his time. So not that. That is, basically you have to do some service to him. Basically you should be of some help to him. And in the process you are spending some time with him. And in the process you are learning something. So that is the upasana. And in the process you are also raising to maybe his wavelength, reaching his wavelength. So that is what is upasana. Whatever state of mind he is in, you are supposed to reach that state of mind. So that is what is upasana. By being near, like being near a heat, you also become hot. So like that, you are reaching to his frame of, his level of thinking. So that is what is upasanam. Upasamipe asanam, to be. Not merely staying and then trying to waste his time, because a good teacher, he will not waste his time with us. Then acharyopasanam. Shaucham we know. Shaucham is shuchi. Shuchi means, literally speaking, shuchi means cleanliness. Cleanliness of mind, cleanliness of talk, cleanliness of action. All the three. Manasa, vacha, karmana. The mind, we have to have pure things in the mind. We have to talk in a pure manner. We should also do pure things. So that is manasa, vacha, karmana, shaucham. Manasa, kayika, vachika, shaucham. So that is what is shaucham. Then sthairiyam. Sthairiyam is sthiratvam, stability. That is, even when there are some obstacles in your path of knowledge, you are overcoming those obstacles, and then you are staying firm in your path of knowledge. Suppose there are some temptations, some other obstacles, you are leaving all those obstacles, and then you are overcoming those obstacles, and then you are firmly in your path. Then Atma Vinigraha, that is Atma Nigraham, that is from all types of temptations, from various types of temptations. Your Atma is here referring to the body-mind complex. Shankaracharya is going to say that this body-mind complex is a dangerous thing, which is going to drag you here and there. So you are not supposed to fall a prey to this body-mind complex. So that is what he says. So these are the virtues which are called, which are the Jnana sadhanani. Of course, some more are there. But of course, you see, as pointed out by this Nilakantha, all these things, they are also Cheto Vritti Visheshaha. You see, notice one thing. What is this Amanitvam? Amanitvam is also a Chitta Vritti. Adambhitvam is a Chitta Vritti. Isn't it? It is just a frame of mind. Amanitvam is a frame of mind. Adambhitvam is a frame of mind. Ahimsa is a frame of mind. Shanti is a frame of mind. So like that, all these are Chitta Vritti. And what is Chitta Vritti? In an earlier shloka, we saw Sanghatas Chetana Dhrutihi. Chetana is Chitta Vritti. That is also Kshetram. Isn't it? So all these things, Jneyatvat Kshetrameva. Isn't it? All these things, they are also Jneya. They are also Jneya, Kshetram only. But then through Kshetram, you are trying to go beyond Kshetram. So that is the point here. So this Nilakantha writes, all these gunas, Amanittvadayopi, Cheto Vritti Visheshaha, Drushyatvacha, Tat Kshetra Vikara eva santaha, Sattvaguna Karyatvat, Jnanasya Sadhana Bhutaha. That is because these are all the products of this Sattvaguna. These are all the products of Sattvaguna, not of Tamoguna or Rajoguna. So that is why these are going to lead you to Jnana. So that is an important point which we can note, that all these things, they are Chitta Vritti. And all these things are Jada. All these things are Kshetram. So though they are Kshetram, they are the products, they are the outcome of this Sattva Guna. So that is why they are going to lead us to Jnana. Then let us see Shankaracharya's commentary. Where is it? Amanitvam. Amanitvam. Manino bhavo manitvam. Atmana shlaghanam. Tad abhavo amanitvam. Amanitvam. So amanitvam is maninaha bhavaha manitvam. So he is explaining the word. Manitvam is that state of having that pride is called manitvam. Then atmanaha shlaghanam. That is praising oneself. So he is beating, beating out, beating his own trumpet, or what do you say? Yeah, beating one's own trumpet. So that is the point. But nowadays, of course, we are supposed to do that. When you are applying for a job, you are supposed to give a CV, and in that CV, you have to do a lot of beating your own trumpet. And they say if you don't beat your own trumpet, nobody else will beat it for you. So, but now we are not talking about somebody applying for a job. We are talking about a Jnani. A Jnani has nothing. He is not a job seeker. So, it's a Jnani. He is Amani. So, a Mani cannot be a Jnani. Mani is somebody he is himself placing himself on a high pedestal. So, when he is himself on a high pedestal, say he can't go down to a teacher and then and even if he does not know, he pretends to know. He will not go to a teacher. He will not be Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya pranipatena. You have to go and touch the feet of a guru. He will not do that because he is a mani. So all these things, they become obstacles. So of course, let us forget about the fellow who has to write his CV. We are talking about a jnani. So atmanaha shlaghanam tadabhavaha amanitvam. Tadabhavaha means absence of it is amanitvam. Then adambhitvam. Swadharma prakatikaranam dambhitvam.
Swadharma prakatikaranam dambhitvam.
Tadabhavo adambhitvam.
Tadabhavo adambhitvam.
So dambhitvam. What is dambhitvam? That is being a dambha. Dambha is dambhitvam. Then swadharma prakatikaranam. Prakatikaranam. To tam-tam. To say proclaim. To advertise. To say, to brag about one's own virtues, to once about one's own virtues is that dambhitvam. So I am this, I am that, all great, all our virtues, all the dharma. Not only that, I am a great dharmatma. I have given so much of money for this. I have done so much, say for this institution. I have done this, I have done that. All that thing is swadharma prakatikaranam. Sometimes pretending to do so, pretending to have done all those things. So a lot of pretentiousness is one angle, and then advertising is one angle. So this is dambhitvam. Then ahimsa. Ahimsanam. Praninam apidanam. So praninam apidanam is not harassing any prani, not causing any hurt to any prani. Then kshantihi
Shantihi.
paraparadha praptau
Paraparadha prapto.
avikriya.
Avikriya.
So paraparadha praptau. So even when you have faced a situation where somebody has done some hurt to you, para aparadha praptau. Prapti means you have faced, you have got some sort of insult from somebody, or you have been hurt by somebody. Para aparadha praptau. When somebody has done some harm to you, even in that case, avikriya. Avikriya means there is no reaction from your side. This is again as a result of knowledge. This is again as a result of knowledge and not as a result of strategy. Like a politician, somebody, when he is insulted by somebody, he swallows that insult and then keeps it in mind. It is not like that. So, not that sort of thing. This is avikriya, is out of jnana. Then arjavam
Arjavam.
rujubhavo avakratvam.
Rujubhavo avakratvam.
So arjavam. In fact, the very Arjuna also is arjavam, arjavat Arjuna. That derivation also is there. Arjavam is one who is straightforward, one who is very sincere in his thinking. So that is why we are having Arjuna questioning about all these things. Krishna, of course, Dharmaraja did not question because he is a jnani. Bhima and Nakula and Sahadeva, they are merely followers, so they don't question. So Arjuna is the thinking type. So that is why we are having Arjuna and having a discussion with Krishna on the justifiability of this war, or rather, justifiability, let us say. So here, arjavam rujusvabhavaha avakratvam. Avakratvam is lack of crookedness. Vakra means crooked. Avakratvam is absence of crookedness. So that is straightforwardness, absence of crookedness is that. Then acharyopasanam.
Acharyopasanam.
Moksha sadhanopadeshtuhu
Moksha sadhanopadeshtuhu.
acharyasya
Acharyasya.
shushrusadi prayogena sevanam.
Shushrusadi prayogena sevanam.
So moksha sadhana upadeshtuhu acharyasya. So he is qualifying that acharya. Acharya, we know normal meaning of acharya is what is this? Achinoti cha shastrarthan acharya sthapayatyapi. That is, he first of all he understands all the shastrartha properly, and then he also implements that all the shastrartha. Acharya sthapayatyapi swayam acharate chaiva. He makes others do and then he also implements. So that is acharya. We are now talking about a jnani acharya. So one who is moksha sadhana upadeshtuhu. Moksha sadhana upadeshta. He should be moksha sadhana upadeshta. Upadeshtuhu is Shashti Vibhakti. Moksha sadhana upadeshta means one who is capable of telling you what is moksha. So we are now coming to that what that Upanishad says, Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Shrotriya, not only a Shrotriya, Shrotriya means one who has all that theoretical knowledge, Shruti, all the knowledge of Shruti he has, that he is a Shrotriya. Then also Brahmanishta, he should also be a Brahmanishta. So that is it. So Brahmanishta, he himself is a jnani, and then he is capable of leading you to that. He is capable of examining the student. He is capable of knowing what is the frame of mind of the student, and then he is capable of leading him to light. So that is that type of teacher. Moksha sadhanopadeshtuhu acharyasya shushrusadi prayogena sevanam. Shankaracharya also is saying shushrusha, because a teacher, you can't simply go and have a chat with him. So if you want to have a chat, sometimes he may have, sometimes he may not have. So the best way is to do some seva, so that there is an opportunity for you to spend some time with him. There is an opportunity to observe, and in the presence of a teacher, you can't be a mani or a dambhi, or you can't have all these things. You can't be you can't show your manitvam or dambhitvam and all these things. You can't show in front of a teacher. You have to be obedient. Perforce you will learn some of these things, and then you will also observe the characteristics of the teacher, and then from that you imbibe those characteristics. So that is how there is a better chance for purification of mind in the presence of an acharya. So that is the acharya upasanam. Then sevanam. Okay, shaucham. Of course, nowadays it is very difficult to do this acharya sevanam. As I said, acharyas will be really good acharyas, will be there somewhere in some flat or something like that. You find some good Swamiji who is a real jnani, he will be in some flat somewhere. He will not be having any big ashram. He will not be having a great ashram like all these peethams. But then he will be leading a very, very simple life. So the only way is to do some sort of service only. Then Shaucham Kayamalanam Mrujjalabhyam Prakshalanam
Shaucham Kayamalanam Mrujjalabhyam Prakshalanam
Antascha Manasaha Pratipaksha Bhavanaya Ragadi Malapanayanam Shaucham. Oh, excellent. So Shaucham Kayamalanam Mrujjalabhyam Prakshalanam. So even for all this bodily dirt, all these bodily impurities, you have to purify it with say mrut and jalam. Mrut means earth. Earth. In olden days, one way of doing snanam is take some mud from a lake, a clear lake, a good water lake. You take out the mud and then you don't say immerse yourself. You don't get into the lake itself. And then you take water out of that lake and then you do this marjanam, and then you pour water, and that is how you have to clean your body. So that was the thing. Even now you get some soaps made of this mud only. Yeah, there is what is called multani mitti. So with that multani mitti, this Patanjali yoga people, they have made soaps. So now there are soaps made of mitti, that is earth. So anyway, Mrut Jalabhyam, what is it? Prakshalanam. Prakshalanam means washing. Prakshalanam. Then Antascha means inside. Antascha Manasaha, that is in your own mind. Pratipaksha Bhavanaya Ragadi Malanam Avanayam. Pratipaksha Bhavanam is a good word. Pratipaksha Bhavanam is a word used by Patanjali also in Yoga Sutra. Say there is that sutra is not mentioned here by anybody. That sutra I forget. Pratipaksha Bhavanam is, say suppose you are attracted by something. So when you are attracted by something, then you have to contemplate on all the bad consequences. You have to contemplate on all the say subsequent all these consequences which will follow, and then you have to dissuade yourself from falling a prey to that sort of attraction, that sort of temptation. So that is Pratipaksha Bhavan. When you are attracted by something, you have to think of all the negative things, and then you have to dissuade yourself from going into that. So that is again Viveka only. It is another way is Viveka only. Nityanitya Vastu Viveka only is Pratipaksha Bhavana. So Pratipaksha Bhavanaya, that is Dosha Darshanam. In other words, Dosha Darshanam. You have to see what are all the defects in that. And that is possible only by Viveka. And what are all those doshas? Ragadi Malanam Apanayanam. This Raga means attachment. Attachment to anything. So for all those things, Apanayanam means to get rid of. Nayanam is to lead. Naya is to lead. Apanayanam is to lead them away. Apanayanam, Shaucham. So this is Shaucham. Then Sthiryam Sthirabhavaha Mokshamarge eva Krutadhyavasayatvam. So Sthiryam. Sthiryam is steadiness. Sthira, sthira word. Sthiryam is sthirasya, that able to be stable in a particular say path is called Sthiryam. Then Sthira Bhavaha. Then Moksha Marge eva. In this, where are you stationed? In that path of moksha, in that path of liberation, in the path of say knowledge. You are in that path. Kruta Adhyavasayatvam. Adhyavasaya, Adhyavasayam is determination. Kruta Adhyavasayatvam means you have taken a determined step, and then you are not going to deviate from that determined path. So that is what is Kruta Adhyavasayatvam. That is a determined decision, let us say. So Kruta Adhyavasayatvam, from that determination you are not going to move away. Then Atma Vinigraha Atmano Apakarakasya Atma Shabda Vachyasya Karyakarana Sanghatasya Vinigraha Swabhavena Sarvatah Pravrittasya Sanmarge eva Nirodhaha Atma Vinigraha. So Atma Vinigraha, he is saying that Atmanah Apakarakasya Atmashabdavachyasya Karyakarana Sanghatasya. So this Karyakarana Sanghata, we know. What is this Karyakarana Sanghata? The body-mind complex. This body-mind complex is Atma Shabda Vachyam. That is, it is designated by the word Atma here. So here, Atma Vinigraha means we are not talking about that Atma Chaitanyam and all that. We are talking about the body-mind complex. So this body-mind complex, which is called Atma, is Atmano Apakarakam. This is actually an obstacle in the path of realizing Atman. So this in this sentence, Shankaracharya is using the word Atma in two ways. Atmanaha Apakarakasya. So this is, if you remember that old shloka, Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhu, Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. Somewhere earlier we got that shloka. Bandhur Atma Atmanastasya Yen Atma Atmaiva Yen Atmana Yen Atma Yena Atmaiva Jitaha. So something like that, the shloka is there. So that it is Yena Atmaiva Atmano Jitaha. So that is what we saw there. So in that way it is used here. So this body-mind complex is an obstacle. It is an apakarakam. Apakarakam means something which is going to lead you away. Something to lead you to a bad path. It is going to do some harm to you. Why? Because it is going to drag you to some wrong path. So for that, you have to restrain that Atmanaha Vinigraha. Vinigraha means to restrain. Restrain that body-mind complex is Atma Vinigraha. Then the next shloka, the Kincha.
Kincha.
So there is no avatarika. Let us read the shloka. Indriyartheshu vairagyam.
Indriyartheshu vairagyam.
Anahankara yevacha.
Anahankara yevacha.
Janma mrityu jara vyadhi.
Janma mrityu jara vyadhi.
Dukkha doshanu darshanam.
Dukkha doshanu darshanam.
So here again some similar virtues are told here. Indriyartheshu vairagyam. Indriyartha. We know the word Indriyartha. Indriyanam arthaha. That is the various objects which are there, which are presented before the Indriyas. All the Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all types of things. All the malls and all our, all the shopping malls and all the whole city outside is full of Indriyarthas. So Indriyartheshu vairagyam. Teshu vairagyam. Vairagyam is lack of attachment. Vairagyam means viragasya bhavaha. Viraga is attachment. Viraga is vigataha ragaha. That is, the raga has disappeared. Viragasya bhavaha vairagyam. That is that stage of mind where you have got dejected from all those things. So that is vairagyam. Because of viveka. Viveka only will lead you to vairagya. So Indriyarthas, there again are two types. Indriyarthas, Drushta Drushteshu, Shankaracharya is going to say Drushta and Adrushta. Drushta is something which are there in this world. Adrushta is something which are promised to you in some other world. So they are also Indriyarthas only. There again, you are going there and having sensual pleasures only. So that is why Drushta Adrushta it is called. Then Vairagyam. Anahankara yevacha. Ahankara, you know, Ahankara is that great egotism. Na Ahankara, Na plus Ahankara is Anahankara. Then Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Doshanudarshanam. All this is one only. All this is one thing, that is Doshanudarshanam. In all these things, you have to see, you have to understand the dosha. You have to see all these negative points you have to properly notice. In what? Janma. Janma is the very fact that a person is born. That Shankaracharya is going to explain rather graphically. Janma, Mrityu, the way a person is going to die. In all these things there is pain involved. Janma, there is a lot of pain involved. Mrityu, there is a lot of pain involved. Jara means old age, there is a lot of pain involved. Vyadhi, when you catch a disease, then there is a lot of pain involved. In all these things, Dukkha Doshanudarshanam. All these things, they are causing a lot of dukkha. So in all these things, doshanam anudarshanam. Anudarshanam means anuchintanam. You have to see what are all the defects in all these things. You have to examine all the defects in all these things. So that is the meaning of the shloka. Let us read the bhashyam. इंद्रियार्थेषु
इन्द्रियार्थेषु
शब्दादिषु
शब्दादिषु
दृष्टादृष्टेषु भोगेषु
दृष्टादृष्टेषु भोगेषु
विरागभावो वैराग्यम्
विरागभावो वैराग्यम्
अनहङ्कारः
अनहङ्कारः
अहङ्काराभाव एव च.
अहङ्काराभाव एव च.
Okay. So here indriyartheshu shabdadishu, this indriyarthas, shabda sparsha rupa, all these external objects, drushta društeshu, I just explained, drushta društeshu bhogeshu, bhoga means all enjoyments, bhuja dhatu means to eat, bhoga means to experience, to enjoy, that is it, bhoga. Bhogeshu viraga bhavaha, viragasya bhavaha, that is lack of attachment. So that is what is vairagyam. Anahankara means ahankara bhava, that is absence of this egotism. Then janma mrityu jara vyadhi
जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि
दुःख दोषानुदर्शनम जन्म च मृत्युश्च जरा च व्याधयश्च
जन्म च मृत्युश्च जरा च व्याधयश्च
दुःखानि च तेषु जन्मादि दुःखान्तेषु प्रत्येकं दोषानुदर्शनम. So the second line he is explaining janma cha, he is breaking all those words, that is janma cha, birth, the very fact of taking birth, then mrutyuhu, that is death, jara, old age, vyadhi, dukkhani cha, all types of sorrows, all these things, teshu, in all these things, pratyekam doshanudarshanam, in each of these things, pratyekam means in each of this doshanudarshanam, you have to see the defects, you have to see the consequent evils, what are all the defects with which it is associated, you have to see. And Shankaracharya is giving a sort of example also. Janmani garbhavasa yonidvara nissaranam doshaha. Tasya anudarshanam alochanam. Tatha mrutyau doshanudarshanam. Tatha jarayam prajna shakti tejo nirodha doshanudarshanam. Paribhutata cheti. Okay. So Janmani. So Janma is giving a small illustration also. Janmani. What is the difficulty in that Janma? You have to stay in some womb for about 9 months or 10 months, and then you have to take the food through the umbilical cord which is coming into the body, and then Garbhavasa Yonidvara Nissaranam, and you have to come out of the path of excrement. Yonidvara Nissaranam. Yonidvara is that is actually the path of place of excrement only. In fact, one English poet, there is an English poet called Yeats. I sometimes quote him also, W.B. Yeats, Y-E-A-T-S. So he says, love hath pitched her mansion in the place of excrement, he says. Love, the goddess of love, he hath pitched her mansion in the place of excrement. So this is the place of excrement in which everybody is interested. That is what he says. So like that, Yonidvara Nissaranam. Nissaranam means coming out of that place of excrement. That is the thing which a man has to. In fact, Bhaja Govindam is full of this thing only, this sort of contemplation only. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. You must be knowing that Bhaja Govindam. Nari stana bharana bhidesham društva maga moha vesham, all these things. So all these things, that is dukkha doshanudarshanam only. Doshanudarshanam. That whole passage, most of the shlokas in that, they are meant for this doshanudarshanam only. If you see, you have not read Bhaja Govindam? Not only heard. Okay, please read. Please read. Bhaja Govindam is full of these shlokas. Then, so this is one thing. Tasya anudarshanam alochanam. Alochanam means to contemplate on that. You see what sort of agony is there in that. What is this human life? So that sort of thing. Then tatha mrutyau doshanudarshanam. In mrutyu also, then gradually say the weakening of all organs, debilitation of all the organs, slowly one after the other, these organs they die off. All these senses gradually, one after the other, they disappear, and slowly the mind also stops functioning. So all these things, these are all the things. Then tatha jarayam. Jara means old age, geriatry. Prajna, Shakti, Tejo, Nirodha, Doshanudarshanam. So when you become old, you become senile. Prajna Shakti, that is senility. Prajna Shakti is not senility, Prajna Shakti is intellectual ability. So Prajna Shakti Nirodha. Nirodha means that thing is weakened. So that means senility. You are not able to think whatever you have learnt in your childhood or whatever you have studied earlier, they are not immediately coming to mind. You are forgetting things, you are forgetting names, you are forgetting people, you are forgetting subject. If you forget people, it is okay, but you can't forget the subject. So Prajna Shakti, Tejo Nirodha, Teja means that activity, that vigor, intellectual vigor. So that is the point here. That Nirodha Doshanudarshanam, that is, that you have to contemplate. Old age is associated with all these things. An aged man is but a paltry thing, somebody says, a tattered coat upon a stick. So it is something like a tattered coat upon a stick. So something like that it is. Then Paribhutata. Paribhutata means Paribhava. Paribhava means getting ignored. Paribhava. You go to some place, that old man has come. A old man, he can't walk, okay, let him, you just see that the fellow is taken care of. So something like that, Paribhava. You everywhere, you feel rather bad. You feel rather ignored, you feel rather insulted. Your grandson will come and say, hey, Tata, you can't do this, you can't do this sum or something like that. So somebody like that, something like that. So all these things is Paribhutata. Paribhutata is getting ignored, getting neglected. Your wife also will not bother for you because your earning capacity has gone. So in fact, Bhartruhari also writes like that. Bhartruhari, there is a beautiful shloka. Mata anindati nabhinandati pita bhratana sambhashate. So the Mata, of course, by the time we become old, parents will not be there anyway. But then all these things, Bhrutyah kupyati nanugachyati sutaha kantapi nalingate. So all this is the predicament of somebody who is not earning money. So that is what he says. So like that, Paribhutata. Paribhutata is ignorance. This old fellow has come, okay, sit in a corner, we'll take care. Don't worry, don't tell us, we know all that, we know. So that type of thing is Paribhutata. Then Tatha Vyadhishu. Shiroro, this is a personal experience for all of us, so we are happy about it. Okay, Tatha Vyadhishu Shirorogadishu.
Tatha Vyadhishu Shirorogadishu.
Doshanudarshanam. Tatha Dukkeshu Adhyatma Adhibhuta Adhidaiva Nimitteshu.
Dukkeshu Adhyatma Adhibhuta Adhidaiva Nimitteshu.
Athava Dukkhanyeva Doshaha. Dukkha Doshaha. Tasya Janmadishu Purvavad Anudarshanam. So likewise, Vyadhishu, in all these diseases which we have, all types of ailments which we have, Shirorogadishu. Shiroroga is headache. It can be not merely an ordinary headache, it can be some migraine type of thing. We do not know. So Shirorogadishu Dosha Anudarshanam. So you see all these defects in this body-mind complex. Then Tatha Dukkeshu. So Dukkha's are again, we know, they are of three types. Adhyatmika, Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva Nimitteshu. Adhyatma, Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva Nimitteshu. That is, Adhyatma is something relating to the body. Adhibhuta is something relating to the external, circumstances. Circumstances means this bhuta, the five, today it may be very hot. Today we are not having, electricity. So we don't have AC. This is a small tiny Adhibhuta Dukkha. So Adhibhuta, then again Adhidaiva. Adhidaiva means some great calamity happens, something which is unforeseen, something which is God sent. God sent can be positive, it can be negative. So that is Adhidaiva, something which is in the hands of God, something which is not in your hands, or not something which is not normally there in this bhuta also. Or it can be Adhyatma, means you have not reconciled with your own feelings and all that. That also can be Adhyatma. That is, you have not properly reconciled your own raga, dvesha, etc. That is again Adhyatma Dukkha. Adhibhuta, somebody causes some harm to you and then you react to it very violently. You don't react to it in a normal way. Then again Adhidaiva. Adhidaiva is again something similar. You have not understood the divine nature properly and then you are agitated about it. So this sort of thing. So you can take it in any manner. So these are the three types of dukhas we normally describe. Athava, or else, dukhanyeva doshaha. Janma, mrityu, vyadhi, jara, dukkha. So like janma, mrityu, vyadhi, jara, dukkha can be treated as an independent word. And then dukkha doshanudarshanam. Dukkanyeva doshaha. So dukkha, having dukkha itself, having sorrow itself is one defect in this life. So that has to be thought of. Purvavad anudarshanam. Like you have done this pratipaksha bhavana. That is, like you have done this dosha darshanam. Like you have seen the defects in all things independently. In this dukkha also, you see this dosha darshanam independently. So that is what it means. Then how is it? There is an like this. He is giving an example. Dukkham janma. Dukkham mrityuh. Dukkham jara. Dukkham vyadhayah. Dukkha nimittatvat. Janmadayah dukkham na punah swarupena iva dukkhamiti. So each one is contributing to sorrow. That is what it says. It means dukkham janma. Janma itself is dukkham. Mrityu is also causing sorrow. Then old age is causing sorrow. All these vyadhaya, all these ailments, they are also causing sorrow. So because dukkha nimittatvat janmadayo dukkham, because they are factors contributing to your sorrow. So that is why they are called dukkham. Na swarupena iva dukkham. They are not, by themselves, it is not dukkham. They are causing some dukkham in you. So that is why they are called dukkham. Then evam janmadishu dukkha doshanudarshanat dehendriya vishaya bhogeshu vairagyam upajayate. So evam, likewise, janmadishu, in all this janma, vyadhi, jara, dukkha, in all these things, doshanudarshanat, by seeing all the defects, by seeing this dosha darshanam, so that is the way in which this vairagya originates in a person. Vairagyam upajayate. Upajayate means it arises, it is born. Upajayate. Vairagya is born by this dosha darshanam. Dehendriya vishaya bhogeshu. All these vishaya bhogas, all the sensory, all these sensual pleasures, let us say. In all these sensual pleasures, once you start analyzing the defects, once you start seeing the problems, then this vairagya, not in an ordinary social sense. Suppose you go to a particular place, you may be caught by police may thrash you. Not that type of thing. Not that type of dosha darshanam. You are supposed to do this dosha darshanam at a higher level, not at the lower level. Did you follow?
Yes.
So there are two levels of this dosha darshanam. Suppose you go to a particular place, the police may catch you and then take you to a police station. That is that lower type of dosha darshanam. What Shankaracharya is talking about is a higher level of dosha darshanam. That is where you have to have proper nitya anitya vastu viveka. And that viveka is leading you to this type of dosha darshanam. Viveka is basically discrimination. Viveka is basically to divide, to distinguish and see what is the reality in that, what is the substance in that. So when you do that, then you come across so many defects. So that is doshanudarshanam. So we are doing doshanudarshanam at a higher level and not at a policeman's level. So in the vishaya bhogeshu vairagyam upajayate. Then tataha pratyagatmani pravrittihi karananam atma darshanaya. So then from that vairagya, tataha means from that vairagya, pratyagatmani pravrittih karananam. Pratyagatmani karananam pravrittihi. Pravritti, you take it the other side. That is, this all our karana means all these organs of perception and also mind. Our mind and indriyas will be focused on that pratyagatma. Of course, indriyas are of no use. Indriyas, if they keep quiet, that itself is a great thing. The mind, tataha pratyagatmani karananam pravrittihi. So these karanas which are going towards external objects, now they move towards pratyagatma. They now concentrate on this atma, this self, the inner self, atma darshanaya, in order to understand what this atma is. Then evam
एवं
jnana hetutvat
ज्ञानहेतुत्वात्
jnanamuchyate
ज्ञानमुच्यते
janmadi dukkha doshanudarshanam.
जन्मादि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम्.
So in this manner, jnana hetutvat, because all this is going to lead you to jnanam, all this dukkha doshanudarshanam is called jnanam. Dukkha doshanudarshanam is actually a jnana sadhana. So because it is leading to that, it is called jnanam. Then kincha,
किंच
next shloka, asaktir anabhishvangah
आसक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः
putradara gruhadishu
पुत्रधारगृहादिषु
nityam cha samachittatvam
नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम्
ishtanishtopapatishu.
इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु.
So this also is again enumerating a few gunas. Asaktihi anabhishvangaha putradara gruhadishu. Asakti is one. Putradara gruhadishu anabhishvangaha, that is another. Then nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishtopapatishu, this whole thing is one. So altogether three virtues are told in this shloka. One is asakti, then putradara gruhadishu anabhishvangaha, then the second line is one. So what is asakti? Sakti we know. Sakti means sangaha. Sangha means attachment. Sangha, from sangha only sakti. That is, sakti is to have attachment. Asakti, lack of attachment. Lack of attachment again is say for all these attachment, for all these external objects, that is lack of attachment. That is then anabhishvangaha. Abhishvanga is excessive attachment. So Shankaracharya, not Shankaracharya, Lord Krishna is making a small classification between ordinary attachment to general objects and then special attachment to certain things like wife, children, etc. So there is an ordinary attachment, maybe I like this pen, I like some cell phone, but then this is, I consider them trivial when compared to certain more personal things like wife, house and wife, children, house, etc. So that is what he is going to say. Abhishvanga is excessive attachment. Anabhishvanga is na plus abhishvanga, that is lack of that excessive attachment to putra, dara, gruhadishu. Putra, son, dara means wife, gruha, adishu. Dara means wife. Dara, not exactly dara, the word is daraha. The word, this is a peculiar word, daraha. Daraha is singular. You should not think that daraha is plural. Daraha is singular. And another peculiar thing is daraha is pumlinga. Daran, dvivachana, dvitiya, the word, the form is daran. So daraha, though even if you have one wife, you have to say daraha. So that is it. So that is a peculiarity of that word, putrada. So then bharya is again different. Bharya means several wives. Patni again, patnayaha, several wives. But then daraha is a peculiar word, so you have to say daraha. Time is over? Okay. 2 more minutes, okay. So, anabhishvangaha putra dara gruhadishu. Putre, darashu, gruhadishu. So that is, this is a nitya bahuvachanam. Daraha is a nitya bahuvachana shabda and a pumlinga shabda. Then gruhadishu. Gruha, etc. Or maybe some more thing to which you may be excessively attached. Like that Jadabharata, you find a character in Bhagavatam where there is a saint called Jadabharata. He is not exactly a saint. In an earlier Janma he was a king. Later he is born as an ordinary man. He is a saint. But he develops excessive attachment to a small deer, the small one of a deer. And then with that attachment he dies, and then in the next Janma he is born as a deer. So like that Abhishvanga is there in that, say that a deer. So like that. Then Nityam cha samachittatvam. Samachittatvam means that equanimity. Equanimity. Ishta anishta upapatishu. When you get something which is ishtam, what you have desired, and what you have not desired also. You got something which you liked, you got something which you did not like. In both, you have that samachittatvam. You take them equally, you take them in the stride. So that is samachittatvam. Let us see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः।